More than 1,000 years ago, Viking settlers built a small community beside a river flowing through what is now the Danish city of Aarhus. Even the city's original name, Aarhus, came from an Old Norse term meaning river mouth, proving that the entire settlement existed because of that waterway. The river provided fish, fresh water, transportation, and even natural protection for the growing medieval town. Over the centuries, the river became the center of daily life in Aarhus. Timber, grain, and goods traveled downstream toward the harbor. Mills, workshops, and busy marketplaces appeared along its banks. The people of the city grew used to the rhythm of the water, from seasonal floods to the yearly arrival of fish migrating through the channel. But during the industrial age in the 19th century, everything slowly began to change. Factories and urban expansion polluted the river more and more each year. City officials eventually started seeing the waterway as a problem instead of a natural asset. Between 1930 and 1958, Aarhus made the shocking decision to bury most of the river beneath layers of concrete and asphalt in order to expand roads and modernize traffic across the city. As the decades passed, an entire generation grew up without ever seeing the river that had originally created their city. Aarhus still carried a name that meant river mouth, yet the water itself had disappeared completely from public view for decades. In the early 1980s, nobody expected a routine drainage repair project to completely change the future of Aarhus. While working beneath St. Clement's Bridge, a construction crew accidentally cracked through the thick concrete that had buried the city's river for decades. Beneath the busy streets and traffic, water suddenly appeared in open air for the first time in nearly half a century. The discovery immediately caught the attention of local residents. Journalist Jørgen Lindegaard photographed the exposed section of the hidden river, capturing old stone arches and the narrow stream that had continued flowing silently underneath the city all those years. When the images were published in newspapers in 1985, the reaction across Aarhus was enormous. Many people suddenly realized they were living in a city named after a river they had never actually seen themselves. That realization quickly sparked intense public debate. Some believed the modern city should remain untouched, while others argued that Aarhus needed to restore the river as part of its lost history and identity. Public meetings began taking place across the city. Architects and urban planners introduced new concepts showing walkways, green spaces, cafes, and open water flowing once again through downtown Aarhus. What started as a small construction accident slowly evolved into a powerful movement to bring the buried river back to life. If your city had buried an entire river beneath concrete decades ago, would you support spending hundreds of millions of dollars to bring it back? Let us know your answer in the comments below. After years of public debate, the city of Aarhus finally made a decision that many people once believed would never happen. In 1989, the city council officially voted to bring the buried river back to the surface. But that vote was only the beginning of a project that would continue for nearly 3 decades. By 1992, Aarhus completed a full master plan for the restoration. The project was far more complicated than simply uncovering an old river. It also included new parks, pedestrian areas, flood protection systems, and the redesign of large sections of the downtown district. Everything had to be done in stages because of the enormous cost and the complex infrastructure hidden beneath the city streets. Actual construction finally began in 1996. Crews started removing layers of concrete that had covered the river for decades, reopening sections of the original waterway piece by piece. Local granite blocks were used to rebuild the riverbanks, while massive underground storage basins were installed to reduce the risk of flooding throughout the city. The project faced constant challenges, including changing budgets, engineering problems, and shifting political priorities. But after more than 26 years of work, the final section of the river finally reappeared near Aarhus Harbor in 2015. A waterway that had once been erased from the city had now become one of the most important parts of modern urban life. From the outside, many people assume Aarhus simply uncovered an old river to make the city look more attractive. But beneath that flowing water is an enormous technological system operating almost non-stop every single day. Under downtown Aarhus lies a network of underground storage basins, pumps, sensors, and automated control systems designed to protect the city from flooding. Every 5 minutes, weather radar scans the entire area to measure rainfall forming above Aarhus. That information is sent to a central control system where advanced algorithms calculate how much water could enter the river and decide which areas should release water or temporarily store it underground. Thanks to this smart infrastructure, the city managed to save tens of millions of euros compared to traditional flood protection projects. But more importantly, the river is no longer just a natural feature flowing through the city. It has become a carefully managed, living system, constantly monitored and adjusted using modern technology to handle the increasingly extreme weather conditions of the future. After the river was brought back to the surface, Aarhus began experiencing changes that few people had expected. Birds like kingfishers and gray herons slowly returned to the riverbanks. Brown trout and perch also reappeared in waters that had once been buried beneath concrete for decades. Nature was not the only thing recovering. The city's economy started transforming as well. Cafes, restaurants, and pedestrian areas appeared along the waterfront, attracting millions of visitors every year. Property values around the river increased rapidly, turning what had once been an ordinary traffic corridor into one of the most vibrant areas in Aarhus. However, the project was far from perfect. After heavy storms, untreated wastewater could still overflow into the river. Some species, especially the European eel, continued to disappear despite the environmental improvements. Aarhus eventually realized that restoring nature is not a miracle that happens overnight, but a process that can take decades of constant work and adaptation. Today, Aarhus has become one of the world's most famous examples of urban ecological restoration. Cities across Europe have started studying the project as they search for ways to uncover rivers that were buried beneath concrete decades ago. From Milan to Brussels and Copenhagen, experts continue visiting Aarhus to learn how the city managed to revive a waterway that had disappeared for nearly half a century. But what truly makes this project remarkable is not simply the beauty of the restored river. The biggest lesson from Aarhus is that humans are capable of repairing the environmental damage they once caused, even if it takes decades of effort and enormous amounts of money to achieve it. The river is no longer just an urban construction project. It has become a symbol of persistence, a reminder of nature's ability to recover, and a reflection of the difficult choices many cities around the world are still facing today. If you enjoy real stories about unbelievable engineering projects and transformations that changed entire cities, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.